Welcome back, my friends. Today we explored Nostromo because you can just do that in Alien Isolation. I completely forgot about that. You just have to boot up the DLC, Crew Expandable. Along the way, I will give you some behind the scenes info, and in the end, I will talk about my expectations for the DLC of Alien Isolation 2. So make sure to stick around. If you want to hear more about the recently announced sequel, check out the videos in the description. And if you feel like this is the kind of content you enjoy, subscribe. Now, let's go.
Whatever it was big and
You sure took him into the air shaft?
Disappeared into one of the cooling ducts.
my question is, it's using the air ducts to move around.
You know, the primary air shaft may work to our advantage. We can lead it through, down to the main airlock.
Who gets to go into the vent?
So Brad has already been taken by the alien, and now we get to pick our character. This choice makes sense, of course. Lambert is becoming hysterical at this point, so it makes sense that she's not in the mood right now. Ash is the bad guy, and Parker seems capable enough, and Dallas is of course our captain. As a side note, did anyone think that maybe Dallas would be our protagonist? I mean, he's the captain. And it's been so long since I saw the movie for the first time. Alan being our hero is so ingrained in my brain that I can't bring myself to imagine how a first-time viewer might interpret the characters up until now. And of course, for now, I choose Alan.
What do I need to do?
Ripley, you lead it into the primary air shaft. We trap it on the lower deck. Then Ash opens the airlock. Lock down the maintenance hatches where Parker, Lambert, and me are tracking it on the way. Let's do it, people.
We start at the breakfast table. Look at that. They found the time to clean up after what happened to Kane. That's admirable. I struggle to clean up after a normal cooking session. But maybe I'd be more motivated if there were a chest burster in my kitchen, or maybe not. I hope Parker finished his coffee here. Did you know that they didn't tell the cast what exactly was about to happen here? When Lambert flinches because she got hit by a stream of blood, she wasn't prepared for this. The rest of the cast is so irritated and shocked. Yeah, that was at least in part genuine. Ridley Scott loved to use such tricks to get the most out of his actors. Genius. The pictures are the same we can find all over Sevastopol. This stone art seems familiar. I've seen this a million times, it feels like. Let's find out what it actually is. So, this is located on the southern coast of England. And get this, it stands on privately owned land, owned by the Wells family, which are described as a landowner family on Wikipedia. Must be nice. Oh, and there are also those pointy towers and pyramid-shaped stone hills, but never seen those and I don't care. While backing out, we can recreate the opening shot of the movie. Now that looks authentic. Amazing. And if you're talking layout, let's check the map. And now, let's compare those to actual blueprints I found from the movie. That's amazing. They really came close to replicating the set authentically. But I found these blueprints on the internet, and honestly, I couldn't find a really proper source. But maybe one of you can point me to a direction where I could find something more credible. Let's collect our equipment now. The flamethrower is just the same as we have on Sevastopol, but the tracker is modeled after the original, easily recognizable by the, let's call it a funnel. As Ash explained, it detects micro changes in air density. That reminds me of something I've seen in a documentary once before. Yup, sharks have a sense like that. They sense changes in water pressure. Air is not dense enough for this, but I mean, it's science fiction, so whatever. Here we can find the infamous AI of the ship Nostromo, the Mother 6000. The name is certainly an homage to HAL 9000 from Space Odyssey from 1968.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Yeah, that one. The room is not a one-to-one recreation, but I'll take it. The med bay. This spot on the floor is where the acid from the facehugger dripped down. The concept of the highly acidic blood is mind-boggling. Why do they have that? There's a surprisingly simple answer, actually. When making the movie, the screenwriter Dan O'Bannon insisted on making the alien mortal. But they needed a reason why the crew couldn't just kill it. Therefore, the acidic blood, capable of eating through the hull of a ship, was introduced. The practical effects used for the scene involved styrofoam for the floor, and a mixture of chloroform, acetone, and other chemicals I will not try to pronounce. Now look who we got here. Okay, now let's listen to what he actually has to say.
The security system has shut a number of doors, so you'll need to gather equipment en route. Mother isn't really helping the situation, unfortunately. Mother isn't really helping the situation, unfortunately.
Nostromo has landed on the surface of the planetoid the acoustical beacon is transmitting from. Dallas, Kane, and Lambert are making preparations to approach the beacon on foot. Surface structure is basalt, with traces of rhyolite and probable lava overlays. Atmosphere, inert nitrogen, a little oxygen, and high levels of free CO2. Pressure reads at 10 to the 4th dynes per centimeter. Quite the storm raging out there.
Hypersleep chamber looks so familiar. Not much to see here, but what's that? That's smart. Placing your slippers right next to your chamber, so nobody has to go fetch them for you.
In the parade, I love the car. Man, this floor is freezing.
I love the concept of this DLC. Going back to the movie that started it all, the game unmistakably tries and succeeds in capturing the feel of the original 1979 Alien. Having the DLC in the enclosed space of the decks of Nostromo seems fitting. Could there have been a few more Easter eggs? Sure. But I think they wanted to refrain from over self-indulging in the source material, and in turn played it maybe a bit too safe. So, what about the sequel? I've seen quite a few people on Reddit suggesting that the whole sequel should take place at Hadley's Hope, in the time before the Marines arrived to show us the horrors Newt had to endure. I like the idea, but talk about low stakes.
Close it down. This plan is crazy. Some kind of suicide.
It's the only plan we've got, Parker. If you've got a better one, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
Who we gonna play as? Newt? Just walking around until the Marines arrive? Is she gonna put together some Molotovs? Play with the computer systems to distract the aliens? Nah, I don't know. Someone else who protects her? Maybe her brother? The problem with that would be that we already know that nobody except Newt will survive. I'm not saying you can't have a tense and depressing story with that, but what kind of plot could you construct around that? You already know where I'm going with that.
Jesus, you took your time. Set up my side of the system. I'm a sitting duck here.
You're safe now, Lambert. Just sit tight. It'll be over soon.
The story of Newt, and maybe her brother, at Hadley's Hope is prime content for a possible DLC of Alien Isolation 2. Put in some more Easter eggs, make the aliens an undeterrable threat you have to hide from, and let it end with Newt in Ripley's arms. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening, it means a lot. So, all I've got left to say, have a great day, subscribe, and see you next time.